Welcome in, everyone. We have a special one for you here tonight on the Fantasy Channel. It is mock draft night. We are going to replicate a 10-team PPR draft. Even better, we have two lovely new guests joining us in Dave and Tommy. As always, Schluterberg, Kyle as well. Dave, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. I get an insight into what your guys' draft strategy is going to be early. This is great.
So you think there's some reverse psychology going on out there.
Oh,
Tommy,
yeah.
how you doing over there?
Doing good. Good. It's a fun Friday. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Excited to get into the first real draft of the year.
Absolutely. And brother Kyle, how you doing?
Living the dream, man.
Love
Everybody got your Friday night drinks here? Cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers, fellas. Cheers, fellas. Here we go. One side note,
Cheers.
this is our first late night podcast, so I am very surprised that my brother is even conscious right now. It is after 8 o'clock at night Central Standard Time, very well past his retirement bedtime. With that said, we're going to get right into it, folks. We're using the Sleeper app. This is a full point PPR draft, 1 quarterback league, 2 running back, 2 receiver, 1 flex, 1 tight end, and 4 bench spots. We're going to get this rolling. We just randomized the draft order. And without further ado here, Kyle is going to be up first as the second pick at 1.2. Let's get it going, fellas.
All right, first off the board, no surprise, Jamar Chase. At pick 2 in PPR, the running back I like, Bijan, then Saquon is who I have. Otherwise, I like CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. Obviously this is a great spot to be to, even be had a chance to draft one of these guys. On this one, I'm going to try going receiver first here, and I'm going to take CD with the second pick, actually.
All right. And Justin Jefferson went at the 1.3, which really leaves me no choice, no alternative. Bijan Robinson is going to be on my team at the 1.4, without a doubt, with those top 3 divas being gone. Dave is up at 1.5.
I feel like if they're zigging, I got to zag. I got to go with premier running back here. So Saquon
at the 1.5. Gibbs at the 1.6. St. Brown, Malik Neighbors, Puka Nacua at 1.9, and Tommy is now on the clock at the turn. He gets 2 picks. That lucky dog him at pick number 10.
Yeah, a little strategy there. This way we can grab a nice wide receiver right away. Brian Thomas was
long time before it gets back to you, Tommy.
Exactly. So going Brian Thomas, really like what he did last year. I think he takes another step again this year. He got some talent around him as well to kind of draw defenders away. And then following that up, there's certain guys I like, but maybe not for a PPR format. So taking a chance on the rookie, the superstar to be.
Okay, Tommy takes Genty with the first pick in the second round. Then goes Nico Collins, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane. And then Dave is back on the clock with the 2-6.
So I'm looking at receivers left. Drake London, not a huge fan. AJ Brown potentially, but already got someone in Philly. And from there, I think kind of drops off. So I'm going to do something I usually don't do. You guys know this. I'm going running back.
Ooh, in a PPR. How about that? That is questionable, folks.
Hey,
Very
this is my
questionable.
first one of the season. I got to get all the bad stuff out.
Yeah, get it out now.
I'm rusty.
All right. Well, Dave
Adam,
did
back on the clock.
Yeah, Dave did Drake London a little dirty. He's who I'm eyeing first here. He had a wonderful year last year. He was phenomenal. A little bit of a question mark with Penix coming in, but they did have a great, last couple of weeks of the season last year. I'm definitely looking receiver here. AJ Brown, don't love him for PPR as much. Jalen Hurts struggles to throw a football sometimes. So right now it's London or Ladd McConkey, and I'm going Drake London for sure.
Okay, so Adam took Drake London with his second pick. Brock Bowers then went to 2.8, first tight end off the board, and then I'm back on the clock here. I took CeeDee Lamb first, my first pick as a second pick overall.
Double Diva? Who are you eyeing here? Double Diva?
Top receivers, AJ Brown. Top running back, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Conor Williams, Chase Brown. I I don't know that I'm as high on Josh Jacobs or Jonathan Taylor over, Kyron Williams, Chase Brown, Brees Hall. I think those are all probably a similar tier for me. So I'll probably take the receiver here, and then I'll look at getting one of those running backs on the next way back here in the third round to me. So that makes AJ Brown my pick. Team 1 takes JSN, and then Josh Jacobs, first pick in the third round. I'm back on the clock. Now I'm looking at running back. So those guys I mentioned are all still there. So to me, this is really where, who do you have a preference? Probably all three of these guys probably won't make it back. Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, Chase Brown, and then Brees Hall. Those are kind of the next ones I have here on my tier. I think for this one, I would actually PPR. I'm struggling with Chase Brown. I like him in a PPR. Jonathan Taylor is probably the obvious pick here. So I'll just take Jonathan Taylor for the sake of this draft.
Don't overthink it.
Josh Allen went at 3.3 after Jonathan Taylor. I am back on the clock here, and fortunate enough for me, Ladd McConkey is still on the board, who had a phenomenal back end of his rookie season last year with a quarterback who throws a beautiful ball. So I'm just checking if there's anywhere else I want to be. I mean, I think Tyreek's going to have a great year, but Ladd McConkey entering year 2 with Herbert, that's a no-brainer for me.
Damn, that's what I wanted. I think
Getting a
here,
lot of love.
Clock, Dave's roster so far: Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving. Are you going to go something other than running back this round?
I think we're going to try a receiver. I'm going to dip my toe in here.
You just be careful out there.
You sure you don't want another running back?
Nah, I think maybe receiver this time. Thinking PPR, probably, big share of the targets. Obviously, he's all alone again. We're going Garrett Wilson.
Wilson, nice pick. And then right after that, second quarterback off, Lamar Jackson, followed with Trey McBride, another strong choice. Tyreek, and then followed with T. Higgins. Crazy that those guys are so close together now. So landing on me, we got to remember it's a long time before it gets back to us.
Yes, it's interesting how Tyreek probably went the first round last year, and now he's going in late third round. That's quite the change of pace for Tyreek.
Right, absolutely.
Don't you think there's still potential for him to just prove everybody wrong again, though?
Yes.
Is he age proof?
I mean, he's still fast as heck. No one's age proof, right? But I believe in Tua. I believe in the cheetah himself. I think he's got a little chip on his shoulder because everyone's doubting him and everyone's kind of pooping on him a little bit. So therefore, I think that's going to motivate him to kind of get after it. But Tua's health obviously hinges upon his success as well.
So another running back on that spot. It's pretty between Kyron Williams and Chase Brown. Both have a lot of receiving potential. I just think Kyron's the guy and is still the guy.
Touchdown machine.
Exactly. And he'll get some carries to help supplement that, and you never know what those opportunities can turn into. But here, looking at another wide receiver. Terry McLaurin's still there. Obviously, contract issues kind of still up in the air. We don't know how that's going to play out.
With that said, he has said how very clearly he wants to be in Washington. He's been with Washington in their down years. He's watching them. He's been with them on the rise up. He has very clearly stated he wants to be in Washington, which I respect him saying. I think they're going to get a deal done, but he's 29 years old, so I think a 2-year contract, giving him a nice fat paycheck would be the best way to go. But we'll see how that shakes out. But I do think he will be a Commander this year. In the fourth.
Let me add this. So I was between Mike Evans. I'd like to get you guys' take. I was between Mike Evans and Harrison Jr. in that number 2 spot. I liked Harrison Jr. because of the targets, the amount that he could get. But I felt like with having Brian Thomas, another second-year receiver, might not be great to really rely on 2 guys not hitting that sophomore slump. So kind of opted to take with a guy who models consistency.
That is fair. So Tommy's team currently with 4 picks in: Brian Thomas, Genty, Kyron Williams, and Mike Evans. At the 4.2, Jaden Daniels, third quarterback off the board. Then we got Scary Terry at 4.3, Brees Hall, Chase Brown, and now we are back to Mr. Dave Michaels himself at the 4.6 pick. 2 running backs, 1 receiver on his team. Let's see if he goes another running back, folks.
Another running back for Dave.
Maybe a
I thought
kicker.
that's the inside joke for me. Like I never draft running backs. I don't even know what I'm doing. This is like if someone gave me the keys to a Ferrari, I'm gonna crash it immediately. All right, I think I'm going. You guys know last year in our main league, I had 3 rookie wide receivers as my 3 starters, and they kind of screwed me a little bit. So I need redemption, and I think big target share, talents there, obviously. You know who it is.
He's running it back.
He's
He's
back.
running it back. At the
The sequel.
4.6, Marvin Harrison. Yes, sir. He's last year. What'd you
I
have?
was scared of
Malik
having your-
Neighbors.
Malik
I was
Neighbors,
scared of
Marvin
having your
Harrison.
exact lineup. Oh, you had Neighbors. I thought you had Brian Thomas.
Oh,
Didn't you have Thomas too?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Neighbors, Thomas, Harrison.
All right, so I'm on the pick here at 4.7. You know, in terms of sleeper, the first, a couple wide receivers, which is kind of what I'm looking at: Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, Rasheed Rice, DK Metcalf. Those are all fair enough. Honestly, if Rasheed wouldn't be, a partial criminal, I'd be looking at him here. But he is facing a suspension, and we don't know what that suspension is going to be, so that's a risk. So I don't love that. Otherwise, I would love to take him here. Running back wise, we're looking at James Cook, bunch of TDs last year, Kenny Walker. Neither one great for PPR. Kamara's a little bit more PPR worthy, but I don't love him either. This is a tough spot to be. However, I am going to go with volume and targets on a team that is a rival to my Green Bay Packers. And that is going to be DJ Moore here at 4.7. At 4.8, it looks like the AI did not get the message earlier today about how Rasheed Rice is going to spend 30 days in prison. At 4.8, Team 3 got Rasheed Rice.
All right, I'm on the clock next. The
Yep.
4.9. My roster so far: CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Jonathan Taylor. I think that's a great start. Top wide receivers on the board: Devontae Adams, Cortland Sutton, DK Metcalf, Zay Flowers. Of those 4, I actually kind of like DK Metcalf the best. Now that we know that's Rodgers throwing him the ball. And running backs: James Cook, Ken Walker. Top 2 quarterbacks: Hurts, Burrow. If Jaden Daniels was still here, this is where I would have possibly considered Jaden Daniels. Tight end: George Kittle, top tight end. I'm also considering that here, as this is PPR, and I do think in PPR a better target share tight end goes further. So that's going to be my pick, actually. George Kittle, then it goes Jalen Hurts, James Cook, and now I'm back on the clock. And of those players that I mentioned, DK Metcalf is still available and Joe Burrow is still available. Those are the 2 I like here. I don't really like doubling up with the ones specifically. So with that, I'll probably take DK Metcalf. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's a good pick, Terry. He's going to get a lot of volume, a lot of targets. I respect that.
Alvin Kamara goes next, and Adam is back on the clock.
Current team: Bijan Robinson, and then 3 divas: Drake London, Lab McConkey, DJ Moore, all the number 1s on their team. All should get a crap ton of volume, so I am not upset with that at all. Here, normally in these leagues, I do not like to reach for a quarterback because it's a little bit early, and the 4 rushing quarterbacks just went. However, Joe Burrow is the last of my tier, so he is someone I am eyeing. Not guaranteed to take at the moment. Running back wise, we're looking at Ken Walker, Joe Mixon, Mario Hampton, Chuba Hubbard. Honestly, none of them really do it for me here. Got 3 receivers, so don't need that. Tight end wise, Hawkinson and Laporta. A little rich for me there. So I'm actually going to go with the best passing quarterback in the league with one of the worst defenses who's going to put up a crap ton of points. I am taking Joe Burrow here, folks.
That's what I was thinking about taking there too in this round.
Yep.
I
I don't like taking a non-rusher that early. He's the only non-rusher quarterback that was just drafted. But again, with the two of the best receiver duo in the league and a terrible defense, I can get behind that. He can put up some points. I'm more than okay with it.
I was just listening to podcasts from two brothers, I think, about the Bengals, and they were saying how they're going to need to score 40 points a game. So I get it. That
They
was
did.
my
I think
thought
they,
too.
I think they had 33
I'll
points.
dye
a
my
game
hair
last
bleach
year.
blonde and slick it back if I draft him and Chase.
This is being recorded. We approve.
All
All
right.
right. Well, I was thinking Burrow at that spot for that reason. Again, you guys, apparently I listen to you too much. So I'm going to skip
Yeah,
on
get out there,
quarterback for
man.
now.
The whole world
I
out
guess
there.
So you think another running back or what?
I think we're going receiver.
Ah.
We're going receiver again. I think I'm going to right my wrongs again. We're going Cortland Sutton.
He's not a rookie. What are we doing here?
It's weird. Volume, right? Volume, stability. It's just going to be
After
great.
they take Sutton, goes Hawkinson, Devontae Adams, Devontae Smith, Joe Mixon, and Tommy is on the clock for a double here at the 5th and 6th turn.
Yeah, so with having 2 wide receivers and 2 running backs, I think we got to look a little outside the box. There's no quarterbacks that jump off at this point. The running backs I like, but I feel like Sam Laporta just sitting there as kind of what I feel is kind of that one of the last of the top tier or second tier tight ends.
Yeah, that's fair. It's in a high-powered offense. They put up a crap ton of points as well. Most touchdowns out of any NFL team last year. New offensive coordinators, only worry there, really. Ben Johnson being gone.
That is the main worry for me in that offense.
It is the only worry there. We don't know how that's going to look. We don't, how integral was he? We're going to find out.
And then who's got this round?
That was mine. So I followed up with Zay Flowers, hoping for a pretty good year this year. Kind of looking at what was around. Xavier Worthy I like, but I don't think he's going to get a whole lot of volume consistently. I looked at Amarion Hampton, which was what was right after that. But once again, didn't want to take another rookie. Not guaranteed that he's going to be starting. Chuba Hubbard, great pick there, followed up. And then Chris Olave at around 6, pick 5, bringing Dave up.
Yeah, and Olave is an interesting one because he's a number 1 receiver, but there's a huge question mark at quarterback. But we know the Saints aren't going to be that great, so they're going to have to air it out, especially in the second half of games. So Olave is someone where if that quarterback can figure things out, he could be a great 6th-round pick if that quarterback works out, because he's going to get a massive volume share and they're going to get a ton of garbage points. So I don't hate that in the 6th round for Olave. There are some question marks within that pick.
Dave on the clock.
What are you looking at, Dave? Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking at running backs.
Again?
What do you mean again? Unbelievable.
Dave's team currently looking Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, and Cortland Sutton. So 3 receivers, 2 running backs. He forgets that quarterbacks and tight ends exist. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to need your advice here, podcast host.
Let's talk through it. What are you looking at? What are you eyeing up?
Ken Walker, David Montgomery.
Well, what is your initial thoughts between the two? Give us that.
Thought, Ken Walker injury, he's going to be ready to go, right? This isn't a lingering thing?
I mean, all I see is a red letters next to his name that says questionable. So if that's your thought, I don't know about that.
Well, that questionable could mean anything.
Sure.
He's somebody who's missed quite a good amount of time over the past couple of years.
Yep, he gets injured a lot. Montgomery's on a great offense. What do you think about Montgomery?
It's tough. I mean, I like Montgomery. Obviously, he's it's like a 1A, 1B, right? I think he's underrated for where his potential is, right? But the question again, like you said earlier, Ben Johnson being gone, is that going to affect the scheme, right? Is it going to be feeding Jahmyr Gibbs, or is it going to be like old school Lion offense that we're used to?
Either way, they're going to run the football, and they're going to run the football first and foremost. I think Ben Johnson's better in the passing attack, which is why the Bears acquired him to help Caleb Williams out. If David Montgomery's healthy, he's a touchdown machine, power machine in that sense. But, obviously there's a bigger mouth to feed there within that.
My thoughts there, Dave, are roster construction. So you have Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving. So you do have 2 good running backs already. So for that standpoint, I would probably take the guy with the highest upside here. And to me, that's probably Ken Walker. But I do think David Montgomery is the safer play if you didn't have either of those guys already.
That makes sense. That's kind of what I was thinking too. Is Ken Walker still potential top 10 finish if everything goes his way, right?
Yes, I think he has a chance to finish higher
12.
than Montgomery.
Don't let Kyle
I
persuade
do
you
think
now.
Montgomery has a higher floor.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway. Ken Walker it is.
All right. So the whole time I was trying to use reverse psychology, I absolutely wanted Ken Walker there. And I'll tell you one reason why. This is a contract year for Ken Walker. And that is always my break-even deciding factor because boys on contract years get after it. So if you're on the fence about any player, check their contract. If they're on a contract year, go with that guy because you bet your bottom dollar they're going to work a heck of a lot harder than a guy who's got a guaranteed cash flow coming in. Okay.
That's
Dave, well
amazing
done.
insight. You should host a podcast, man.
You read through the BS. I'm mad at Kyle that he helps you with that. A little bit frustrated. We'll get through it. Right now, I am looking at tight ends available. Jonnu Smith. Don't love that with Muth there. If he was on Miami, I'd be taking him right now without a doubt. Travis Kelce burned me last year. Don't love that. Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram. Don't love any of those picks right there. In terms of the overall, James Conner, David Montgomery, Patrick Mahomes. I tell you what I am going to do, though. I'm going to go a little bit more depth at a guy that I am very high on. Someone that we talked about earlier today, Kyle. He is a wide receiver 2 for America's team, and that is Mr. George Pickens. And again, I like him because this is his first time being in a pass-heavy offense, first time being a number 2 receiver, and it's his first time with a legitimate quarterback that's not Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, a washed Russell Wilson. He has Dak throwing to him. I'm high on Pickens this year, and that's why I went with him.
Yep. And then after that goes James Conner. I'm back on the clock, and I'm actually going to take David Montgomery here now.
Look at that. Did you reverse psychology, Dave, on that one too? Did we double him up on that?
That was a double reverse psychology.
I would have actually taken whichever running back of those two was available to me, as I have 3 stud receivers and 1 running back already on my roster. So I needed that to feel good about a second running back. After that, it goes Jalen Waddle and Ted McMillan, rookie in Carolina. I'm back on the clock, 7th round, second pick here. This is an interesting one. I think I also want to go with another RB. I see Pacheco and Aaron Jones top on the board here. I don't love either of those guys. So I will actually, being that this is PPR, take a bit of an early flyer on RJ Harvey here.
Ooh. All righty. After RJ Harvey went Jameson Williams, who I actually love as the Detroit Lions number 2 wide receiver. Very fast guy, huge big play potential. Going to get another year better in his 3rd year. Had I not had, 4 receivers, I was eyeing him up, but I do need to go running back here. And to Kyle's earlier point, I don't love what I'm looking at. Pacheco, Aaron Jones, Tyrone Tracy, Tony Pollard, Judkins. Had Judkins not punched a woman in the face, maybe I'd be looking at him right here. But unfortunately, he did that. Unfortunately, he should never see the field again. So at this point in time, I am going to go with the running back that has the best offense in front of me, which is Isaiah Pacheco. Don't love it, but again, I'm going with the best offense. Chiefs can move the ball. He's going to get some tutties. Pacheco it is for me. Dave is on the clock. His team is Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Cortland Sutton, Kenny Walker. Do we got another running back in him? Let's find out.
Should I just take them all up and then nobody can have any? Can we do that?
That's kind of how it feels. I mean, there's a cliff with running backs, right? After the top 20 or less, there's a cliff there for sure.
So I've been looking at tight end, receiver, tight end. There's some potential there. Do I go any receivers that I like better for their upside? And as much as I hate this team, habitually underrated every year. I think he's another 1A, 1B, Jordan Addison.
Dave takes Addison at the 7.5. 7.6, we got Chris Godwin. Ooh, quarterback starting to fly. 7.7, Patrick Mahomes. Then Baker Mayfield. Outstanding last year for Baker Mayfield. Outperformed for sure. Will he do it again? I don't know. Jonnu Smith for Pittsburgh goes at 7.9. Bit of a question mark there due to it being a new team and Freiermuth still being there. If he was on Miami, I would love that. We are looking at Tommy, end of the 7th round at the turn. Tommy, who are you looking at here?
Man, there was definitely a good drop-off that happened between these 2 rounds.
In what position? All the positions, running backs, what are you feeling?
I think quite a few. I mean, we're looking at Aaron Jones, who I don't hate, don't get me wrong. But, of course, injury and age is a concern, new quarterback. And Judy being the next one that they're recommending. A little look more.
Tommy's team currently stands at the 10th pick. Brian Thomas, Genty, Kyron Williams, Mike Evans, Sam Laporta, Zay Flowers, and 2 to go for him.
Dave, getting back to your Addison pick, I think Addison actually has a 4-game suspension as well. I'm not sure on that, but I think he does.
It's fine and probation in DUI case that is most likely going to be a 4-gamer. Again, I don't know if that's.
Didn't he get in trouble last year? But he.
Yeah, it was a last year thing, but these things take time to play out on the process of court, and then after that's decided, then the NFL determines what they want to do.
He pled to a lesser charge. The NFL is going to weigh in soon whether it's a possible suspension. I think we know the NFL, they have a hammer. They like to put it down. Probably a 4-weeker if we had to guess.
All right, Tommy, catch us up to speed here.
Yeah, I went with Khalil Shakir, just kind of looking at opportunity.
He's a good PPR value, in my opinion.
Right. So he's got games where he's going to go off. He's got games where he might kind of fade in the background more, but he's usually getting consistent targets. And then with DeAndre Swift, I just kind of thought that he's going to take a step up with the amount of passes he's going to get. I think this offense kind of settles in more. He's going to get more opportunities. That offensive line took a big step forward.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
And I think he could be an integral part of kind of how that offense operates.
For those that don't know, the Bears got in 2 or 3 new linemen to help secure that offensive line, so that way Caleb Williams doesn't have to be the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, which was, I think, above. It was an abysmal rate last year, but nonetheless, that is some fair logic, Tommy. I can get behind that.
And then after that, we went Aaron Jones, Judkins, Judy, Hunter. Dave is back on the clock in the middle of the 8th round. Dave, who are you looking at?
I think it's tight end time. No, he's old. No, he pissed Adam off last year, but he's this late. He's all reliable. Got to take a shot on him here, I think.
35 years young. I just hope you have to watch every Chiefs game like I did last year. And what you will see is they are not the Chiefs of the past. They have a phenomenal defense. Their offense is slow moving, not nearly as explosive ever since Tyreek Hill left. Rasheed Rice coming back will help. Obviously, not within the first 4
Xavier
to 6
Worthy's
weeks,
the explosive part of that offense.
He is, but he is not enough to carry that offense into being as explosive as it once was. You will see some pain and misery with that. However, the price of the 8th round, I think that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
I don't mind it. I would have personally taken Andrews over Kelsey.
I was looking at him too.
I am so happy you said that, Kyle, because I also
coming next.
I also need a tight end, and I am so happy that Dave didn't take this one from me like he did with Ken Walker. I am going to go with a guy 6 years younger, with a quarterback last year who had an amazing season. And let's just take a moment to say Lamar Jackson absolutely should have been MVP last year. The fact that Josh Allen got that over him is just the saddest thing I've ever seen. Their stats are not even close. So that's neither here nor there. Without a doubt, I am going Mark Andrews here. The biggest concern with Mark Andrews is the cat sitting behind him, and Isaiah Likely. And he gets targets, he gets catches. They are both integral parts of this offense. But my rule of thumb with the Ravens is I don't like Ravens receivers at all. So your Zay Flowers pick, Tommy, so sorry. I love their tight ends, though. Mark Andrews, without a doubt.
After Adams takes Andrews, Tyrone Tracy, and then back to me here. I think with my roster construction, I like my top 3 receivers: CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, DK Metcalf. I see Rome Odunze here, and I think I like the upside, especially coming from my bench. So that's what I'm going to take. And then after that, the rookie running back Henderson out of New England goes, Tony Pollard, and then back to me, the second pick in the 9th round.
Only Adam is a quarterback so far.
I was going to say there's 3 people in this draft that don't have a quarterback, and they're human.
Yeah.
I mean, the quarterbacks this is one quarterback league. So, there'll be a guy on the waiver wire that you could play if you wanted. Top quarterbacks on the board: Jared Goff, Bo Nix, Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Caleb Williams, CJ Stroud, Dak Prescott. A lot of middle-of-the-road quarterbacks there. I do like Kyler Murray in there for his rushing ability. So if I was going to take a flyer on a quarterback here, that's who I would probably take.
Over Bo Nix, your boy? I don't know about that.
I like Bo Nix' passing ability better. I already have some shares of Bo Nix in Dynasty, and I don't have any Kyler this year. So that's how I would break the tiebreaker for me if I was going to do that right now.
You know this is a mock draft, right?
Yeah, I know, but practice like you play. What?
Oh, fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Bo Nix has
I think
rushing
that means
upside.
we get to mock each other as we draft. Isn't that what this
Running
is?
backs: Najee Harris, Brian Robinson, Jalen Warren, Caleb Johnson. I like Brian Robinson the most out of those running backs, and being that the guys I have, I would probably rather take a running back here. So I'm going to go Brian Robinson for a good off the bench, depth piece, flex running back.
Yeah, I do like that pick. It's a good offense, and he's a good PPR back. While I kind of discuss my next pick here, I want to take a moment. You guys look at the board here. I want you to look at either one reach pick or one great pick. Peruse around. Let me know what you think as I discuss my next pick. I only have 2 running backs in Bijan and Isaiah Pacheco, so I absolutely need to secure another one here.
Yeah, you basically went hero RB strategy here.
I did. Well, that's because that's a PPR league, and that's how you need to operate. And when you have Bijan, the cornerstone, you can do that. If you don't have Bijan, then it's a different story. But I do, so I know that number 1 position is locked in. I can plug and play other pieces in at the RB2, full well knowing I'm flexing a receiver all year long. With that said, running backs I'm looking at: Najee, Warren, Caleb Johnson, Stevenson, Javante. Not great. However, without a doubt, I know who I'm going to take here. It is Pittsburgh's number 1 running back in Jalen Warren. There is no longer Najee Harris in his way. Jalen Warren is wonderful as a reception running back. And, he can bounce off tackles.
Wonderful.
What?
Mr. Wonderful.
Absolutely. He bounces off tackles. More importantly, the Steelers trust him. I know there's Caleb Johnson right behind him. That's a big cat out of Iowa. And Caleb Johnson is not going to be receiving back. And due to him being a rookie, not being comfortable with the offense and the team, Jalen Warren is the pick here for me for sure. We'll let it rattle off here as it gets to Dave. Does anyone have their biggest reach yet or their favorite pick yet within the board?
I do. I have my reach, and it happened on pick number 2.
Yeah, I think that's a reach too. Genty at the turn.
No, I meant
your own pick. You went with yourself.
No, I meant pick number 2 of the draft.
Me with a
Lamb.
CD. I knew you were coming for me.
That makes more sense. I didn't think he was going to knock himself. Why is that, Tommy?
So don't get me wrong. I don't think you're too far off, but I think with number 2, I like Jefferson better. Amon-Ra, Malik, Puka. Puka's kind of there. I just worry about Dak. You got Pickens coming in, who's going to be asking for more targets. They did kind of instill some kind of running back, so I just didn't love
you
it.
would go Malik Neighbors over CeeDee Lamb.
I'd have to think about it.
That's fair. Okay. Kyle, you want to defend yourself here?
Yeah, I mean, you can justify Jefferson over CD all day. My thought there is the quarterback play in Minnesota is unproven, even though Justin Jefferson's about as quarterback proof as they come.
Right.
I just CD Lamb finished as like a wide receiver 8 without Dak Prescott half the year. So to me, he's just a number one wide receiver that I want locked up on my lineup, whatever happens.
So let's solve this one other question here. CD Lamb and Justin Jefferson have the exact same quarterback. Who would you guys pick over those two?
Then it would be Jefferson.
Jefferson.
Yep.
There's your answer, folks.
Okay, yeah, mine was actually Genty. I just don't see him being. I don't think he's got anything for. I don't think he's got anything for hand.
Do we need to
This
take
is
this offline?
PPR. Yeah, we do. Let's take
We
this
will settle
outside.
this one outside.
Yeah, I mean, I like Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Javon Etienne, all over him. In standard scoring, I wouldn't hate him in the second there. I don't mind that. PPR, I like a lot of those other guys better.
You know, a lot of people are drooling all over Genty. You know, a lot of people that drool over rookie running backs. The volume he's allegedly going to get. The one thing I'll give to Tommy's credit is the Raiders are going to be behind a lot, which is like, okay, he may not run the ball as much, but he should still get some passing attempts. Kyle, you don't think he's good in the receiving area?
No, I don't. And I don't think their offensive line is very good either.
Their offensive line is not great, that's for sure. But I do think he can catch some balls, and he will be effective in the passing game. And that's why they drafted him in that spot for sure. He's going to be a 3-down back for them without a doubt.
We'll see how he does.
Tommy,
All right, what about you guys? You guys got reach picks? Otherwise, let's move on to Dave's
Dave's
pick
thinking
here.
about his next pick, so he won't.
I got a
disturb
good pick. I got a good pick. What'd you call it? What's the opposite of reach pick? You said I got a good pick.
Okay,
Strong.
yeah. What's your good
You
pick?
like?
Tommy with Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, I think that's a good value pick as well.
I think that went way
7-10.
down there, especially potential for him to be the number one for Josh Allen, right?
Mhm. He is.
I mean, for going that late, I feel like that's
Yeah,
pretty good upside
in the seventh
Number one.
round. I like that.
for sure.
You know,
All right,
and then the counter argument. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
No, go ahead. Go.
I say the counter argument to that is Josh Allen does not need a number one weapon. He's proven that. I mean, obviously he's had Diggs, and that's his only number one weapon he's utilized. Otherwise, he gets the job done by any means necessary, running the football, throwing it to 7 different guys, running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, spreading the wealth. So he's never, in the most recent years, he hasn't needed a number one. But I do agree with you. I think that was a great pick. And due to that offense, I agree with you, Dave.
He gets the job done.
He does, man. I mean, number one quarterback.
Mahomes in the playoffs or an NFC or AFC championship.
All right, for my pick here, I've been looking at running backs. Might be a
No
reach
quarterback
because Mark
yet.
reaching me. Yeah, well, I feel like they're all kind of like in the same area that I go. I'm gonna let the fate decide, and like see which one falls to me. You know what I mean? Because I can't make up my mind there. I was like, man. So running back, I'm gonna handcuff because I look at my running back, make with my roster. Saquon, awesome. Bucky, awesome. And then Ken Walker, if I take his handcuff here, and Zach Charbonnet, no matter what, I feel like you get production out of either one of those guys throughout the year. So at least I got a spot for the starting Seattle
It's a
running
good
back.
safe pick for someone that gets injured frequently. So I don't.
Yeah, I'm
I
going
don't
to
hate
say,
that one bit.
I think you justified it well, and I think this is a good spot to take it. After that, Charbonnet, Dave took. Then it goes Ridley, Jacoby Myers, David Njoku, Najee Harris. Tommy is on the clock for a double here, the 9th and 10th.
All right. Well, I think it's about time to grab a quarterback. Thank Goff,
Okay.
but he doesn't excite me this year. Not like this guy. What an amazing year he had last year, and I think they build off that. They get some more weapons around him. He's going to take another step. So Bo Nix looked really good.
Can't argue with Bo Nix. Sean Payton. Sean Payton made look really good.
Bo Nix at the 9-10. We have 2 rounds left, folks. 2 rounds left because we have 4 bench spots total. No defense, no kicker.
We're keeping it short and sweet for y'all.
And
Absolutely.
2 of us
Yeah,
don't have
best
a
we can.
quarterback still.
That is correct. So Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair though. You can get a quarterback after round 10, and that's not a worry. They're so deep right now. Quarterbacks: Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy. There's plenty of availability there for sure.
Yeah, I think the top 5 are the only ones that you would ever consider taking before the 6th round.
So why not Caleb Williams?
I mean, he's available. Draft him. Go ahead. I think he's
I
a
mean,
little
why-
unproven, still questionable offensive line, but I do project him to have a much better second year. I think he's somebody here who any of us could start looking at as this draft wraps up to get on a team.
Tommy, why don't you read off what just happened there? Because this is effing hilarious. What just happened with those 3 guys that went back to back.
They're pretty
That's
good.
crazy.
So I went with Deebo Samuel. I just kind of thought, man, this far, this late, we don't know what's going on with McLaurin. Like I said earlier, he's still got something left in him, and if we can squeeze something out in the 10th round, sure, I'm willing to take a chance on that. Followed up with Brandon Ayuk, former teammate. Followed up with Ricky Pearsall, another 49er. And then moving on to Stephon Diggs. Pretty late there as well, obviously coming off an injury. We'll see how that one plays out there.
Yeah,
And
that's
then-
interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to say, I think Caleb Johnson to kind of try to take some of the carries away from Jalen Warren.
Yeah, absolutely. But a lot of interesting things just happened there. One, Stephon Diggs, number 1 wide receiver for a team, just went in the 10th round. Obviously, question marks coming off the knee injury, being on a new team, but that is some potential value there in an organization that is going to be behind and needs to throw the football. And then the other thing I'd like to point out is with the 49ers team, this is what's so interesting about their wide receivers. They're all late and they all get drafted right next to each other, which just goes to show no one knows who the heck is going to perform on this team. Ayuk and Ricky P are constantly going next to each other in between the 9th and 11th round. So that's very interesting to see.
Both those guys are currently on the PUP list, missing the first 4 games of the season as well.
Ricky P is?
That he is right now. They say he could get removed, but he currently is.
I'll add one note to that. Mr. Juwan Jennings, who as soon as those question marks happened with Ayuk and Ricky P, he stepped back and he had his agent call the organization and he said, "Pay me more money because I am the only receiver left on this team." So he absolutely has the leverage right now, being the only consistent wide receiver within the 49ers organization. And he stepped back and he is using that leverage to get paid more. And I respect the heck out of that because without Juwan Jennings on that team to start week 1, they have no one.
Yeah.
No one with Debo gone and Ayuk and Ricky P question marks. So well done in terms of a strategy move, a chess move there by Juwan Jennings. We'll see how that plays out. I bet a lot of money that they pay him what he wants because without him, that is one sketchy start of the season for the 49ers.
Yeah, and if those guys are out the first 4 weeks and he signs a new deal and he's good to play, he's going to have massive target share in those first 4 weeks to a guy that he's not even drafted yet, is he?
No, I think he was.
Where was he drafted?
Never mind. He is still out there. I totally lied.
Still available.
He's still out there. So,
So
Dave,
those other 2 guys got drafted ahead of him right now. Okay.
Dave's on the clock. He
I'm gonna
currently
pretend I
has
didn't hear that. You guys
4
can-
running backs, 4 wide receivers, tight end, no quarterback for Dave. So,
Dave, are you taking Caleb here?
Are
Is
you
that why
going
you're asking?
0 QB, 0 QB? Is that the move here?
0 Q. Ooh, maybe we could rename it the Dave method. It'd be famous.
Well, there is a reason my team name is titled Dave Sucks at Fantasy Football, folks.
Hey, same number of championships, Adam.
That is fair. We don't got to talk about that right now.
So you look in the mirror before you pick a username.
Yeah, it's fair.
I'm just kidding. I think I'm going to go Jared Goff. I think obviously he's proved he can do it. He's amazing. Be consistent. I think the last of this tier of quarterbacks left.
Okay. I think that's fair enough. Goff, high-powered offense, an amazing completion percentage last year, number 2 behind Tua when he was healthy. Still has 2 amazing weapons on the outside. Again, really the only question mark for the Lions is Ben Johnson not being there. and they're no longer going to be able to do the play, the fake tumble play or whatever you guys. If you saw the Netflix quarterback show where they literally faked the play where the running back fell over and he fell over, and they found a tight end wide open in the end zone because that's what the linebacker was looking at. Anyways, that's a good pick there. I respect that.
Dude, if they weren't in our division, they'd be like my second favorite team. They're just
That's
fun.
fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Yep. Before I make my pick here, I'm going to circle back to something that happened in the second round. Derrick Henry went before Christian McCaffrey and Devon Achane. I think that is a huge mistake, and that is no shade to Derrick Henry. He's a phenomenal running back. He could easily be, a top 5 running back. But in the PPR league, you want to get that catch value. And Achane leading in receptions, I think, last year. McCaffrey, if he's healthy, absolutely will crush it within receptions. I would easily take Devon Achane or Christian McCaffrey over Derrick Henry in a PPR league. Now, on the flip side of that, that's a standard league, that's not a question. Derrick Henry can easily go before those guys, but that's something that I would not have done and something that I found interesting.
I'm going to jump on that one. I agree. You guys know how much I love me some Derrick Henry.
Yep.
And kind of when it came to he served me well. So when it came with Ashton Genty, I kind of looked at Henry and was like, I love it, but that catching isn't there yet. I mean, they're not on. Henry's not going to get his catches, and I think Genty's going to get more than him, and that's going to really bump it up. McCaffrey, I agree with you. I think he's going to get a lot more, especially if he stays healthy. Even if he doesn't stay healthy the whole year, the amount of catches he gets is going to propel his value.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to put emphasis on that, Achane had about 70 catches last year. That's a 70-point swing, right? And obviously McCaffrey was injured, so we can't compare that. But it's a 70-point swing, and that's why it's so fun and why you have to be so aware of, PPR, standard, half point. You had to be aware of those things for that exact reason. Again, no one's upset with having Henry on their team, so we'll add that in there. That dude's amazing. Still doing it at 31, which no running back really has done at a high level. All right, I am on the clock here. 4 wide receivers. Here's my team: Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Ladd McConkey, DJ Moore, Joe Burrow, George Pickens, Pacheco, Andrews, and Warren. So I have 3 running backs, Bijan being really the holster of that. So I'm kind of looking for some depth there. And, it's even funnier is because I'm about to eat my words with what I just said.
I think there's a clear pick here at running back.
Ramondre Stevenson is not a PPR running back at all. However, he's going to get a crap ton of volume. And since we are at the 10.7, I will happily take a crap ton of volume on a run-heavy Mike Vrabel-led offense. So without a doubt here, I'm going Ramondre Stevenson as my number 4 running back. And again, not a good PPR pick, but at 10.7, that is value. He will lead that backfield on first and second down until that rookie gets comfortable. And Ramondre Stevenson coughed up the ball a lot last year. That's my biggest, don't love that. But again, at round 10, I just paid pennies on the dollar for a number 1 running back on a run-heavy offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that pick. Then after that, it goes Jaden Reed. I'm back on the clock, 10th round. Kyler Murray is the top quarterback on the board. I don't have one, so this is where I would really like to take him. I think that's a good value for him here. After that, it goes Cooper Kupp, Evan Ingram. I'm back again. And here, last pick, I'm just going to take a flyer on a diva. So I'm looking at Emeka Egbuka, Keon Coleman, Matthew Golden. For the sake of this draft, I'll just take me some Keon Coleman, the late round wide receiver flyer, who I think has high upside. After that, Jordan Love, and Adam, back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're at the end of the draft, I know it's only round 11 for the purposes of what we did, but when you get towards the end of your draft, every position should be filled, and you should have a good depth piece at every position. So you're really not worried about filling a specific role. What you're looking for here is, who do you really love? Who has a chance to make it? Who has a chance to be a deep sleeper? Who can really get after it? And, as I'm talking about this, I'm looking because I don't know yet. But
well, what do you know?
Not a whole lot, I mean, I'll be honest. In terms of, there's 2 tight ends that I love available: Kincaid and Ferguson. Those are 2 tight ends on a high-powered offense that, just in case Andrews starts out slow or Lamar wants to rush for 150 yards a game, I could easily take those fellas and not be sad about it. Tajay Spears has a lot of volume potential, but on a terrible offense. So I do not love that. Bigsby, a lot of touchdown potential, but not great for PPR. But you know what? I know who I am gonna pick actually. And we discussed this earlier. This could be the number one wide receiver on an offense that is very good. And as a matter of fact, he could be the only wide receiver on the field for the first 4 weeks of this season, and that is Juwan Jennings. That is a great value here in round 11. He is a PPR guy through and through. So that was easy for me once I saw his name.
So I'm gonna take a flyer, looking around, see any value. Running back, Javonte Williams on top, at least to start the year, clear running back one for hopefully a better, higher powered offense, if the Cowboys have their way, right? So potential, see what happens, Javonte Williams.
After that goes Justin Herbert, the rookie tight end, Warren in Indianapolis, Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, couple of Colts receivers, and Tommy is on the clock with the last pick in the draft.
Well, this one is fun. It kind of adds up. Recommended player for me being Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden.
Oh,
It's on a squad.
We have no idea what's going to happen with this guy in this offense. Where's he going to be in the depth chart? How is he going to mesh? But he's fun. He's a question. I was at the draft, so he's got a special place.
Special place in your heart. You watched him get drafted. You
Last
watched him shake the hand of commissioner.
And we're all a little bit biased towards the Packers for sure. But the best part about that and the alarming thing is that is the first Packers wide receiver.
No, Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed was
there.
drafted.
You go. Oh, you're right. You went 10. You went 10.8. In other leagues, Golden has gone first. Nonetheless, big question mark with the Packers wide receivers because you don't know who's going to do it, and there's so many solid ones. But it's a great passing offense. Who didn't get their reach or their good pick in? Anybody? Are we missing anybody there?
So Adam, I'm sorry, I like your team, but Drake London, reach.
Yeah, I know
I'm
you
not a Drake London fan. Again, Kyle kind of said it with Penix. I just feel like there's other receivers around him that have like more pedigree and like better quarterbacks thrown to him, like AJ Brown, JSN, even Garrett Wilson, who I took next. I think I would almost take over London. But
how many Atlanta games did you watch last year, Dave?
over and under 0.5.
Oh, so not even
0.
one.
Yeah, 0.
Okay, well that is fair, and that brings some.
I try to let myself enjoy my Sundays. I don't watch shitty teams,
Okay, well just to bring some awareness to you, in a PPR league last year, Drake London finished as wide receiver 5. And considering that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wide receivers went before him, that is value. He's also 23 years old, and he also has a new quarterback in the mix that is young and improving and can sling it. So I appreciate your feedback. I can also give you a minor, middle finger because Drake London's is and I'm going to add one thing to that. Last year, I frequently bet on Drake London's receptions over, and that was one thing that kept me in the green last year in terms of sports betting because that dude is a PPR machine. So I respectfully disagree with you.
That's fair, and that's why you're hosting a podcast and I'm not.
All right. Do we want to run through each squad and give them a quick grade and then call it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We'll just go in order of the board here, so that makes me first. Rosters as follows: Kyler Murray, Jonathan Taylor, David Montgomery, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, George Kittle, DK Metcalf in the flex. Off the bench, RJ Harvey, Roma Dunze, Brian Robinson, Keon Coleman. I mean, I think that's a very solid, well-rounded.
What do you think about that, fellas?
PPR.
Who wants to, give them some dirty insight here? Anybody?
As a whole, I like it. I mean, kind of like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I hate CeeDee Lamb, but he's really good. You got AJ Brown paired with him. Jonathan Taylor, I think that late is still an absolute steal, especially for a guy who's still going to catch the ball. George Kittle that late, absolutely. I think it's a really good PPR team, and I think some of the shock, you look at the names, but you got to really think PPR, I think that team's going to do really well.
Yeah, my 2 cents is no one's going to be upset with CeeDee Lamb and AJ Brown as their number 1 and 2 divas. However, I have to obviously give my brother some flack, which I will happily do, and that is your first 2 running backs are great in standard leagues, but I think you forgot the conception that this is a PPR league, and Jonathan Taylor and David Montgomery are more built for standard leagues. But again, I know
JT catches balls. David Montgomery less, but that's also
David
why
Montgomery will never catch a football. That's why they have Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
But you did clear that up in the back end with Brian Robinson, which I will give you a little bit of credit for there.
and
But again,
RJ Harvey.
yeah, I mean, that's a rookie, so let's not speak too much on it, but fair enough. And that's also a very deep backfield. With that said, I got to give you some flack on that, and that's your 2 running backs I love for a standard league. Don't love them for a PPR league, but I got to give you a knock on something, so that's my view.
Okay.
I like his value he got with Rome Odunze and Keon Coleman, both second-year wide receivers, potential to break out.
Absolutely. Odunze caught like 55% of his passes last year, so I don't love him, but that's besides the point. Anyone else on Kyle's team?
Kyler that late, that's fun.
Yeah, I think that's fun too. That's where you like to get him.
Yeah.
Rushing upside at 10.9. That's well done.
Yep. All right. Adam, you want to break down your squad? You're next.
Again, team name, Dave sucks at fantasy football. In positional order, Joe Burrow, Bijan Robinson, Isaiah Pacheco for the Divas, Drake London, Ladd McConkey, and DJ Moore, Mark Andrews, George Pickens, Jalen Warren, Ramondre Stevenson, finishing with Juwan Jennings, potentially the 49ers' number 1 receiver. Dig in, fellas. Don't be shy now.
I'll go first. I like most of it, especially Burrow, Bijan. I like Drake. You did double dip with the Falcons there.
Yep.
I'm a little lower on Pacheco. I'm fine with McConkey. Love Andrews where you got him in the 8th round. I'm fine with DJ Moore in the flex, and I like some of your value here on the bench. So really, it's just Pacheco is the one I like the least here. So RB2 basically.
Yep. Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it's a great team.
I know Joe Burrow's a stud, but no rushing upside pretty much, right?
Yes.
So the only thing I'd be questioning myself is, okay, look back. Did you take Joe Burrow too early? Look at who went after him. Like, would you rather have, looking at your roster now, some of those guys?
Mahomes and Mayfield were the 2 that went after him, and I would much rather have him than those 2.
Yeah, true. But I'm saying the other positions like wide receiver, running back, tight end.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep. No, and that's a fair viewpoint, Dave. And the reason why, and just to give some insight, is Joe Burrow was the last of my quarterback tier. And of all the other tiers out there, he was the last of that tier. And whenever I have that of my own tiers, that is the person I pick just for the best value of who I feel is best. I did not want to draft a quarterback in the 5th round. To your point, I don't love that, but he was the last of my tier of that tier, and everyone else was already into the next tier. So therefore, that's why I went with Joe Burrow. And a terrible defense. He's going to have to put up over 4,000 yards and over 40 touchdowns to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think your team's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I see Drake London and Ladd McConkey as the top 2, and it doesn't get me excited. But to your point, I mean, you hit great spots on Drake London. He's going to get his. Ladd McConkey surely is going to get his targets as well. He's going to be that new favorite receiver. He's going to get catches. They might not always be for a lot, but he's going to get a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm. I think both those players have a tilt in PPR.
Yeah, exactly. They're not as flashy as some of the guys in front of them, right?
Right.
But they are both PPR machines, which is why I'm okay with it.
Agreed.
However, Kyle, you did bring up a good point. Having 2 of the players on the same team with your first and your second pick, that's the only thing I do not love within my roster creation, because there's only so much that can go around, unless it's Bijan Robinson.
That's fair.
That's something I can.
Yeah, I think that's a really good spot to be in with that team specifically, because Penix gets hurt, what happens? Kirk Cousins comes in. You know you're going to be fine. Both of those guys would be fine.
Yeah, as long as Kirk Cousins is still there, I can agree with that.
Yep, it's a good point. Mm-hmm. Yep. Dave, who you got?
All right. Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Cortland Sutton. That was when y'all started roasting me for just taking running backs. So glad there's a story there. Then we went Ken Walker, Jordan Addison, Travis Kelce went real late, I thought, even though he's 35 years old. Zach Charbonnet with the
You'll
handcuff.
see.
Jared Goff, and Javonte Williams to finish it up. All right.
All right, I'll go first.
Rip me to shreds.
Not a huge golf fan, but 10th round, I don't mind that. You can certainly pick somebody up off free agency who's better, who's outperforming, which I would probably do if I was you. But he's good for now. Saquon, can't argue there. Bucky Irving, can't argue there. And you even have Kenny Walker either flexed or off the bench, which I think is phenomenal strength if you can do that. Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison. I don't hate it. I think they are exactly that, a solid receiver 1 and a solid receiver 2. So I don't hate that. Cortland Sutton, I think he's a decent value. I would also be lower on Travis Kelce. Addison's I think he's going to be out for 4 weeks, so I probably would have waited a little longer on him. And you just handcuff Walker with Charbonnet, which is fine. But, as it sits right now, your lineup would have both of Seattle's running backs on your bench. So just a little constricting with the roster, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, I'll follow up with that, Dave. The first thing when I look at your team, I think if this is a standard league, I like it a little bit more. That's the first thing I look at, and that's just because you went 2 running backs first, 2 running backs in Saquon and Bucky. Now, with that said, Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison are the number 1. So you have 2 number 1 receivers on their team. So that should be a lot of target share and a lot of catches. However, the quarterback of either of those teams, I don't love as much. So, your divas in those first 2 picks, I don't love the QB play there in terms of passing the football. That's my only knock. With that said, again, if this is a standard team, I'd be drooling all over it. But it is not. Outside of that, well done. Way to get your handcuff in there. Well done outside of that.
Thank you.
I'm going to follow that up. I agree 100% with everything Adam just said.
Thank you.
All right, Tommy, you are up, buddy.
All right, so we'll start from the top of the lineup, starting with Bo Nix as our quarterback, Ashton Genty and Kyron Williams as the running backs. Starting wide receivers being Brian Thomas, Mike Evans, and then you can flex either Zay Flowers, Shakir, or DeAndre Swift. With Sam Laporta as our tight end. Some more bench depth with Deebo Samuel and Matthew Golden to wrap it up.
Yeah, I'll jump on this one right away here. Again, Genty's the only one that I have to see it in a PPR format. Otherwise, there's a couple of guys I would have taken ahead of him. But overall, I could echo what you just said about Dave's to this squad. Sure. I like the running backs here a lot for standard scoring.
Yep.
I don't think Kyron Williams is as a PPR guy as you guys may think he is. The guy behind him, Blake Corum, is probably going to be getting some more passing work.
I mean, Kyron gets everything.
He does. But I don't know that he's as much of the receiving guy in potentially this year as he's been in the past, in my opinion. I do think Blake Corum takes up more of that. I like the receivers, and you asked us at the time you were looking at Marvin Harrison instead of Mike Evans, and you didn't want to pair him with Brian Thomas for just the risk of those 2 younger guys. And that's exactly right. Like, that is when you do those types of things. You were pairing your risk with your reward, right? So you took the risk on one younger guy. So then you're all right. You're going to take a little Old Faithful on the other one. That just helps you sleep at night, Other than that, I like the value for PPR receivers with Shakir, Flowers, and Deebo.
100%. Being at the end, being pick 10, that's never ideal, right? That's usually less chances of winning championships in terms of how the algorithms are put out. But nonetheless, with the Genty argument, so many people are high on him where they would take him in front of other running backs that were taken. I'm number 1 to love a rookie running back, on a questionable team. But I do like Kyron at 310. And then your receivers, 2 6'4" guys that are fast as heck. Touchdown machines, yardage machines. No one is arguing with Brian Thomas and Mike Evans, especially if Mike Evans is healthy all year. Mike Evans has never had under 1,000-yard year. Brian Thomas is going to put up over 1,000 yards and progress another. So I think your 2 divas are some of the taller, more athletic, fastest guys in the league. The one place I would knock you is I'm never a Baltimore Ravens wide receiver fan. Zay Flowers. I think he could have went some other places there. I think Shakir might fill his flex spot. But other than that, I like the team. I like the 2 big 6'4" fast wide receivers on the outside. That's always fun, and that's going to cause you some fun, when they're throwing 50-yard bombs and catching it in the end zone over the shorter D-back.
Okay, so who won?
We'll know in about 5-6 months, give or take.
Just kidding. All right, you guys got anything else?
Thanks for having me. This is a lot
that
of
was
fun.
fun. Happy to do
Yeah,
it again.
glad
This
you
was
guys
good.
can lock with us. We'll have to get another one on the board here at some point.
Yep, absolutely. Dave, Tommy, thank you for joining us. Fans, if you're still watching, which I doubt most of you are, but if you are, give us any type of feedback you want. Stuff you want to see more of, stuff you want to see less of. Like, subscribe. We don't care if you do or don't. Doesn't matter to us. We're having fun with this. It's been a joy. We'll have another episode coming here in a couple of days. Kyle, you got anything to finish with?
That's it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next one.